Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about this new palette from Too Faced. It's the Natural Love palette and it is limited edition. So we're gonna do brush swatches. I'm gonna show you a little eye look at the end of the video. So if you wanna see how I got this look that I'm wearing on my eyes right now, then stick around to the end of the video and I'll do a quick little voiceover tutorial for you. First, I'll give you some info about the palette and then we'll get into the swatches. This palette retails for $59 US. It is available on Too Faced website as well as at Sephora and Ulta. This is the box that the palette comes in. It's very pretty, kind of embossed, very natural, girly print. I don't know if that matters to you or not. I love packaging, so I like to see what the outer carton looks like too. This is what the palette looks like. It has the same kind of artwork. It's a nice, slim cardboard palette. It does have a sort of magnetic flap closure, and the writing on the front is like a fuzzy, it feels kind of like the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, you know what I mean? Like a little velvety texture, which I didn't realize that about this palette, but I think that's pretty cool. It opens up like this. There is a nice big mirror in there, as you can see. I do like that it folds all the way over. I find this just really easy to use because it is a larger palette. I like that I can kind of fold it over in my hand and dip my brushes into it and work with it really easily when I'm sitting at my vanity and I don't need to use the mirror. I think they did a really nice job of minimizing the packaging. It's still really pretty, you know, cutesy Too Faced style, but it's not overly bulky, it's not overly heavy. I feel like they did a really great job of keeping the packaging to a minimum with so many shades in here. There are 30 shades, 7 are matte, 13 are shimmer, and 10 are what they call sparkle, which basically means glitter. So overall, this is a very shimmery palette. I'm a shimmer girl, so I love it, but if you're not into a lot of shimmer, a lot of glitter, you probably won't love this one. There are only 7 matte shades. There are some recurring shades in here from other palettes. From the description, it says that there are shades from the Natural Eyes, Natural at Night, and Natural Matte palettes. So there are a few duplicate shades in here. If you already own those, this may not be as good of a value for you. However, if you don't have any of those palettes, this would be a great way to try out some of the shades because the smaller 9-pan palettes that these shades are taken from are, I think, $36 each, and this is $59. So you're getting 30 shades for $59, which is a pretty darn good deal. We're gonna get into the swatches now. I am gonna do a finger and a brush swatch of each shade. I'm gonna go from top to bottom and right to left. So you're gonna be seeing these lightest shades first and these darkest shades last. I'm gonna be swatching on my bare arm, no primer, no foundation, no base at all, just bare skin on my arm. And for my brush swatches, I'm going to use my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush, and I'll clean off with my Vera Mona color switch in between each shadow. Here we have the first row of swatches on the far left of the palette. These are the lightest shades in the palette, and we are gonna see 3 of the 7 mattes in this row. On top are my finger swatches and below are the brush swatches. This first row is very, very close to my skin tone, so these swatches don't show up super well on me. It's not that they're not pigmented, it's just they're very close to my skin tone. So first we have the shade Heaven, and next is Lace Teddy. These are both mattes. Then we see one of the sparkle shades. This one's called Pink Cheeks. And a shimmer. This one's called Poodle. And believe it or not, this is actually an eyeshadow. It's just basically the exact same color as my skin tone. It's another matte and it's called Spotlight. Here we are onto the second column of shadows. Again, on top are the finger swatches and below are the brush swatches. This first shade is super glittery and it's called Fairy Tale. As you can see, it doesn't apply well with a brush at all, but with a finger it is absolutely a gorgeous glittery shade. And these next 2 are probably 2 of my favorites. They have like a gold duochrome finish almost. This first one is called Satin Sheets, and it has like a pink to gold duochrome. And then the next one is called Kittens, and it's like a lavender and gold. I love these. I just think they're such special shades, and I love to wear this kind of shade on my lids all the time. This next shade is called Cutie Patootie, and it is like a shimmery kind of cool pink. And last, another matte. This is called Honey Butter. It's a very toasty tan color, and this is such a beautiful like crease shade. This whole row just makes me really happy. We're on to the third column in the palette, and look at how pigmented these brush swatches are. They look almost the same as the finger swatches. This first shade is a matte taupe. It's called Nudie. Next, we have one of my longtime favorite shadows. This is a beautiful shimmery rose gold. It's called Push Up. Then we have this kind of light, bright pink. Does that make sense? Light, bright. And here we have Dear Diary. It's more of a shimmery bronze. And lastly, another one of my favorites from the palette. I am wearing this on my lids today. It's called Honeymoon, and it's like a reddish pink. It's like a rosy red, if that makes sense. So here's the third column in the palette. Fourth column in the palette. This first shade is called Tickle Me. It is very, very sheer. Even the finger swatch up top just barely shows up. I think this is probably the most disappointing shade in the palette for me. I would just like to see a little more punch out of this shade. However, not disappointed with Honey Pot. Beautiful gold. And here we have a silver called Moonbeam. A really warm shimmery brown. This one's called Coffee Date. And lastly, this incredible deep orange. This one's called Hot and Bothered. It does have gold glitter throughout, but I don't think that really translates once it's out of the pan. Such a pretty color. We're starting to get into the dark shades now. This is the second to last row, and this first shade is so stinking pretty. It's like a blackened gold and silver. I can't even describe it. It's just like a metallic goodness. It's called Don't Settle. I love this one. I think it even looks beautiful applied with a brush, a little bit more sheared out. Next, we have the shade Chocolate Martini, and I don't think it's coming across as much on camera, but this does have a gold glittery, shimmery micro glitter throughout, and that shows up a lot more when applied with a finger versus applied with a brush. Now we have this purpley silver. It's called Love Bug, and here we have a lighter bronzy brown. This is Spoiled. And last, another matte. This one's called Makeup and Chill. I think it looks a little warmer on camera than it looks in person. This is kind of like an eggplant purpley brown. Were those the worst color descriptions ever? I'm sorry if they were. Again, finger swatches on top and brush swatches on bottom. We made it to the very last column. This first shade is called Fingers Crossed. It's like a warm purple, and it has some gold glitter in it. Again, the glitter seems to kind of fall out as it's applied. This is a really similar shade. This one's called Undercover, and again, it's like a warm, deep purple, but this one has blue and purple glitters in it. So I think these end up looking pretty similar once they're applied. Next is the shade called Smokin, and it's kind of a smoky silver, smoky quartz kind of color. This is called Night Fever, and it is a deep, deep brown with a lot of gold shimmer and glitter. And the very, very last shade is called Stiletto, and it is a deep, dark, matte black. Yay, we made it through swatches of 30 shades in this palette. I absolutely love the color selection here. I think they did a great job of keeping it really neutral and really wearable, but still managing to put some fun little pops of color in there that fit into the color scheme. The really warm shades like Honeymoon and Hot and Bothered, and some of the bright pinks like Bunny Nose, And the purples, Love Bug comes to mind. I know there are quite a few purples in here. I really like the way that they balance the color selection. There are plenty of light, medium, and dark shades. As you saw, this palette is very shimmery. It's very glittery. If you're not into a lot of shimmer shadows, then this probably isn't the palette for you. I do also want to mention that the glittery shades have quite a bit of fallout. So when you're using those, I just recommend doing your eye makeup first. And that way, if you get fallout on your face, especially with those darker shadows, it won't mess up your makeup. If you already own the 9-pan palettes, the Natural Eyes, Natural at Night, and Natural Matte, then this probably isn't as good of a value for you unless, like me, you're a collector. However, I think for 30 shades, for the same Too Faced quality, the same Too Faced packaging that we all love, 30 shades for $59 in this really pretty palette is a really good value in my opinion. I love the mirror, I love the packaging, I love the shade selection. Natural love, that's why they called it that, because naturally, I love it. Now that I'm to the point of making puns, I think we should move on to the tutorial. If you want to see how I got the eye look I'm wearing right now using this palette, then just keep watching. Starting off with some Shadow Insurance primer to prime my eyelids, and then I'm going to set that primer with the cream matte shade called Heaven in the palette. Next, I'm moving to my crease shade, and I'm using a combination of Nudie and Honey Butter. Those are both matte shades as well, and I love to mix shades to kind of manipulate the tone. Next, I'm going to use Coffee Date just on the outer part of my lids, and eventually I'm going to go back and deepen this up, but for now I'm just kind of laying down that shadow to see where I want the depth in my eye look to be. Now I'm going in with one of my favorite shades from the palette. This is called Honeymoon, and I'm using a flat brush to put that all over my eyelid. Now I'm going to deepen up the outer part again using Coffee Date mixed with a little Makeup and Chill to add some depth. And of course that inner corner highlight, we gotta pop it, so we're using Satin Sheets. And just make sure you take a minute to admire how pretty that highlight looks. Now I'm going back to the shade Nudie for my lower lash line, and I have a little idea. I'm going to take Honeymoon again on a flat brush and spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus so that we can get a really metallic look on the eyelid. This just helps that shade to be a little foiled and a little bit brighter. Now I'm using Heaven again on a fluffy brush just to go under the brow bone and blend out the crease shade. Of course, you gotta add a little mascara onto some curled lashes. And to finish off this look, I'm using my Sweet Peach Gloss in the shade Papa Don't Peach. This is my favorite shade, and I think it just looks perfect with every eye look, especially a nice warm neutral look like this one. And that's the finished look. I really like how this turned out. This is a great everyday look. It's warm and shimmery and just everything I love. That wraps up this video. Obviously, I'm a fan of this palette. I've rarely met a Too Faced palette that I didn't like. However, I always want to know, is this on your wish list? Did you already pick this one up? What did you think of it? I always want to know what you guys think about things too, so leave a comment and let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Why do you... The first take's always so freaking awkward. It is available on TooFaced.com. Huh? We are... My hand is stained. Swatch hand. My fingers are stained too. Swatches. Still worth it. I love swatches. You probably already know this, unless you're new here, in which case you don't know this. However, oh, makeup puns. Just don't.